Hi, this is Kerby Anderson. Each day we take on the tough issues and provide a biblical perspective to them. The topics we cover are wide-ranging: apologetics, theology, prophecy, creation and evolution, intelligent design, marriage, family, child-rearing, the millennial generation, trends in society, politics, economics, business, religious liberty, the Constitution, public policy, foreign policy, military policy, tensions in the Middle East, abortion, homosexuality, pornography, sexual ethics, media, technology, history, and America's godly heritage. We talk about anything that affects your faith, your family, or your freedom. So don't go anywhere, because Point of View starts right now.
Across America, live. This is Point of View. And now, Kerby Anderson.
Thank you for joining me. Fourth day of Truth Team 360, and we are excited. But if you've been waiting to send in your gift, today is the day, and we certainly want to hear from you. In studio with me all through the week has been Brad Fisk, and I'm excited about all that.
I am very excited. We've been doing this all week, and what Truth Team is all about is asking you to step up and financially support the ministry. We're there for you 24/7, 365 with the program. We even aired on the weekends in certain markets. But we're asking you now to step alongside of us, lift our arms in the battle, as they say back in the Moses days, and give financially abundantly and more than you are able. And we're really emphasizing kind of the sweet spot is $1 a day.
Yes.
$30 a month, $360 a year. And we're asking you to join the Truth Team. It's actually a real kind of club. It's a team.
Yes.
And we have free gifts for you.
We certainly do. And we're looking for your monthly support, because our monthly expenses come in and our monthly gifts. And your gifts actually will help us do what we need to do. But as we pointed out, there are different giving levels. First of all, that $1 a day, $30 a month, we are making available to you as a welcome gift, either the tote bag or the sports bag. And you can go to our website, pointofview.net, and see their Lands' End.
They're Lands' End high quality bags. They're awesome. They really are.
So again, a canvas tote bag or a sport bag you can take to your workout or anywhere you might want to go. And then we've also calculated that if indeed you were to sponsor just a minute a month, that turns out to be $65 a month.
That's right.
And again, you
Reaching
can choose
40 states for $65.
Yeah. That's pretty good to me. That certainly is the case. And again, you can choose either the tote bag or the sports bag. And of course, at the century level, we know that there have been a number of you who said, I could probably give $100 a month. And at that point, you can pick any all of those, including this new executive travel bag, which we've never been making available before. And these are all just very high quality ways in which we can thank you. And again, we really want to emphasize the monthly giving, because our expenses come in monthly and our giving certainly needs to be monthly. But for any gift, even if it's a one-time gift, we're also making available, Brad, as you well know, we just printed it here, the Declaration and Constitution, and it fits in your pocket, and it's something that we will send to anybody of any gift of any size.
Really a nice little pocket edition. Before we go any further, we need to say thank you to those in the past 3 days that have checked in with us financially. There have been several dozen of you that have called in, and we do need to say thank you, thank you, thank you. So continue to pray for us if you've already given, and ask others to join. But this is a great time to step aboard the team, become part of the Truth Team. 1-800-347-5151. That's 800-347-5151, or online.
And again, that is pointofview.net. Let me just, before we introduce our in-studio guest here, talk about the fact that you can actually not only support this ministry, but also share with others why you support this ministry. And let's hear what Colleen had to say.
I just turned your program on, and I want to just let you know, I was working in an abortion clinic when abortion first became legal, and I thought I was helping women. And the Lord showed me in a very powerful way, as He removed the veil from me, what exactly I've been involved in. And I am proof of forgiveness. And I want to just let you know how much I appreciate just getting the truth out.
So again, a lot of us talk about the importance of getting truth out. That's the Truth of Truth team, right?
That's right, exactly.
We're all about truth.
Truth with a capital T, I might add, because the world has its own definition of truth. Small t.
Yeah, relative truth and all the rest. Let me introduce someone to our audience who really needs very little introduction because we've had Jerry Tuma on this program many times before, the founder and president of Cornerstone Financial Services, a certified financial planner. As we mentioned before, he occasionally will give you some financial advice, but it is not to be taken specifically, and we'll talk more about some of those disclaimers in just a minute. But today we were inviting you in not so much to talk about financial advice, but just to, again, encourage our listeners to support Point of View.
That's right, Kerby, and Brad, appreciate you bringing me on. I would just encourage people, rarely, in my opinion, do you have the ability to, and I know everybody says this, but this is really true. I've been around this ministry, I guess, since 1987.
Yes.
And so I've seen a lot of things come and go in the world and the United States since then. What I want to encourage our people and challenge our people who are listening today is to make a difference, something that really matters. And I'm not saying your church doesn't matter. I'm not saying other ministries aren't important. They are. But where else do you find a ministry that is so focused on combating the issues of this day? The enemy has his version of truth. The enemy's version of truth, just like Adam and Eve. He distorted the truth, he lied to them, and they bought into it. Our culture has bought into so many lies, in my viewpoint, of what really has happened in the world and how the world works. The law of gravity doesn't work anymore, basically, from the standpoint of if you're dealing with humanism and the far left and all that kind of stuff. And our nation is getting ready to go through, I think, over the next 10 or 15 years, a period of sowing and reaping where we've sown things. Oh, we thought they were correct. We thought we were being good citizens. We thought we were doing the right thing. We're being planetary citizens. Just like Colleen said a moment ago, God ripped the veil off of her eyes and she saw something different because the truth pierced that and it changed her life. This is an opportunity to get involved in something that will matter in eternity because it has potential to turn this country. And that's what I would challenge you to get involved with.
1-800-347-5151. If that resonates with your spirit, it sure does mine, then I'm asking you to step aboard and show us the support. Right now, I'm looking into the phone center. We have one line occupied, the rest of the line's open, and we have plenty of room for you. Listen, it's a 2 to 3 minute phone call. You do not have to have the pledge now in hand. That's a common mistake. People think it's not how much is in your wallet. It's would you be willing to step into a monthly gift or a single gift and make a difference. Make a difference. Every dollar counts to do that. 1-800-347-5151. 800-347-5151 or online at pointofview.net and click on Join the Team button.
Lots of people joining right now, but here's one that actually has joined.
When my children were very small, I started listening, and even before they were school-aged, my eyes started being opened, and I started realizing that there was another religion being taught in our public schools, and I just wanted to let y'all know today I am joining. I just feel like that if the information is not there, then a lot of other ministries will not even have a chance to be where they are and do what they do.
Won't you join with her again? 1-800-347-5151. 1-800-347-5151. Jerry, we're encouraging people to join up and be part of this team because membership has its privileges. They get the Outlook magazine. They get the tote bag. We're sending out a number of other great resources. So we just ask people to jump in and join with us.
I think it's a great opportunity. Again, you hear about giving a lot, and giving's very important. It's a part of stewardship. If you're not involved in giving, then don't count on the blessings that God talks about when he talks about giving in his word. And I'm not talking about, the get rich quick theme of giving, everybody's going to be wealthy and healthy and wise. That's not the issue. The issue, though, is at the end of the day, all of us are going to face a day of reckoning someday. And he's going to go, by the way, how did you do with the stuff I gave you? It's called the parable of the talents. And so it's not just talents as in I have talent to do this duty or this task, or I'm good at writing, or I'm good engineer. It's also the talents he's entrusted to us to steward while we're on earth, the financial talents. And I don't know of any better way to take what you've been given as a financial talent and use it kind of like Jesus did with the loaves and the fishes, because as he broke it and he multiplied it, it spread, and it spread all over. This broadcast is going all over the country, and it's affecting human lives every single day, just as the last caller said.
1-800-347-5151. Brad, we'd like to get 5 calls during this break.
5 calls during this break at 1-800-347-5151. Come on, you guys. Let's go to the phones right now.
We'll be back right after this.
This is Viewpoints with Kerby Anderson.
You had to see this coming. A recent article in Irish News argues that gay cousins should be allowed to marry each other following the same-sex marriage referendum. After all, the only reason we don't allow cousins to marry is to protect the genetic pool. This wouldn't be a problem for gay cousins. Dr. Michael Brown, who supports traditional marriage, takes their argument one step further and asks in a recent column, why can't two gay brothers marry? He points out that once you throw out biblical norms, then just about anything could be done. One of the strongest arguments, he says, against consensual adult incest is that incestuous relationships actually result in children with genetic defects. If that's not possible in a gay union, why not allow gay brothers or gay sisters to marry? The argument we get these days from the gay lobby is that the prohibition in Leviticus 18 against homosexuality should not apply today. Well, a few verses earlier are verses that prohibit incest. If we're throwing out biblical prohibitions against homosexuality, then why shouldn't we throw out biblical prohibitions against incest? Michael Brown has been talking about the attempts to normalize consensual adult incest, and when he was on the Piers Morgan show 2 years ago, he was told that his concerns were ridiculous and silly. Already some European countries have lifted legal sanctions against incestuous relationships. A number of academics have been arguing for something similar in this country, and we have a few court cases advocating for consensual adult incest. This is what happens when society rejects the biblical norm for marriage. Most of the arguments for same-sex marriage could also be a compelling argument for polygamy as well as incest. When we raised these questions and concerns in the past, we were told not to worry. But we could see it coming, and now it's almost here. I'm Kerby Anderson, and that's my point of view.
Take Kerby and the Point of View team with you on the go with the Point of View app. Search for Point of View Radio at the Apple or Google Play stores.
You're listening to Point of View, your listener-supported source for truth.
Back once again, if you'd like to join us, we certainly encourage you to join with the Truth Team 360, 1-800-347-5151, 800-347-5151. In studio with me, Brad Fisk, as well as Jerry Tuma. And these are some opportunities right now for some of our listeners, Brad, because we actually have some empty phone lines, which sometimes we have not had.
I'm going to slow it down for just a minute to make sure our friends are understanding what this is about. We only do this a couple times a year, and this is a vital part of our overall budget to continue to do what we do. We want to grow. We've got some exciting ideas we've been talking about even this week.
Yes.
In the offices here about some growth opportunities. But you got to start at base number one before you get to base number two, and we've got to fully fund the ministry to continue working. What many of you may not know is we have only 10 people on staff running the entire Point of View operation. That's an amazingly low number. I'm in radio, and it's incredible efficiency. So your money is being stretched a very long way as you give. You need to understand that. This is a good deal. This is a good value for your dollar, which has eternal consequences galore. And we'll talk more about those as we do every day. 1-800-347-5151, 800-347-5151. You can also give online at pointofview.net. Click on Join the Team. So I'm just going to ask you, is this important to you? Is this information important to you? If so, please call.
Just a minute ago, we played two different clips, one from an individual that was hearing the program for the first time and had left an abortion clinic. Somebody else is kind of one of the old-time listeners, been around for a while, and I remember when Marlon Maddox was the host, and of course, Jerry, you and I remember that only so well.
You bet.
But I thought for just a few minutes, before we get back into that, but I do want to encourage you even to make calls while we're talking about this, maybe help us understand what the future looks like, because if there is anybody, Brad, that has been able to predict most of the downturns, he's like 75%, 80%. I mean, it's just unbelievable. You've predicted so many. And a lot of it has to do with you seeing some trends. You follow trends. You saw the baby boomers and some others. And so oftentimes when everybody's saying buy, 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 you're saying, no, this might be the time to sell, 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 right?
That's true. And Kerby, it's the mega trends. Most people, Wall Street in particular, they look not only at the tree, they look at the bark under the tree, and they don't see the forest. They certainly don't see the forest fire coming. So the issue is you've got to really look at big picture trends economically, financially, and every other way. I do think America is going to face some challenges. And again, the issue really is, as one of the other callers said, I realized that they were teaching another religion in the public schools. And, that's basically what they're doing. They're teaching socialism. They're teaching moral relativism. All that stems essentially from an atheistic worldview, or we would also know as humanism. And the issue here is, as we've sown those humanistic seeds in our society, we're going to have some reaping to do. And some of that's not going to be pleasant. But the good news about that, and this is why I'm sitting in this chair today helping to support this ministry, is that without the vision, people perish. We've heard that scripture somewhere. I think it's in Hosea. The issue is you have to be armed with the truth. I heard about humanism. I had prayed the sinner's prayer, basically, and that was it. That was my level of Christianity. I read the 4 Spiritual Laws tract and prayed the prayer at the end. That was all I'd known. I'd never been in church, basically. But when I first heard about something you talk about all the time called humanism, and I realized this not only was another religion, but it rocked my worldview. I was not the same from that day forward. And so what we've got to do as a ministry here at Point of View is take those points of truth and pierce the darkness with them, because the veil is over people's eyes. But guess what? If you have hope for America, if you want America to prosper in the long run and not go the way of the Roman Empire, to be honest with you, what we've got to do is arm the people with the truth, because seeds of social rebirth can be planted in these times that we're facing in the next 10 to 15 years. But first they have to hear it, and first somebody's got to be out there proclaiming it. Kerby, thank you for doing that on Point of View.
Thank you. I might mention Jerry Tuma's book, From Boom to Bust and Beyond, but you wrote an earlier book with Tim LaHaye. And I thought for just a minute, you and your wife wrote a very good book with Tim LaHaye, and I wanted to get that back in print, by the way. That's another one of my goals, to see if we can get that out there. But Tim LaHaye had this to say about the importance of keeping on. Okay, well, we'll get to Tim LaHaye in just a minute. Let's, if we can, then remind you the number, 1-800-347-5151. Now we got Tim LaHaye. There we go.
Well, I think it's most important that we be alive and alert and informed. And Point of View does keep people informed in an incredible way. I remember back when Marlon Maddox started Point of View and how God so raised it up as a tool. Back then, we had very little alternative voices on radio or on television. Today we have more and more of the people are rising up, voting correctly or participating in voting and getting involved. And Point of View keeps that going and has for all these many years. And I hope that you folks will never think of abandoning that tremendous opportunity to influence society, because people are going to be influenced by what they hear and by what they read. And you'll find that we need the help of the ordinary people. And that's what's making the difference in America. Ordinary people, by giving $5, $20, $30, $40, $100 donations to ministries like Point of View, are keeping it alive. But you must understand that we need it on a regular basis. And so I would urge our listeners to do everything you can. Give sacrificially to Point of View. I can guarantee you it's money well spent for the cause of Christ and the cause of America, keeping America free. Remember, the bottom line issue is religious freedom in America, and never in my lifetime has religious freedom been under greater attack than it is today.
Well, again, just a couple of points. First of all, of course, giving on a regular basis. We're talking about, Brad,
We are
monthly support.
Yep, that's
and
so
that is certainly
important.
the case. So that is certainly the case. Also, Jerry, you can relate to this a little bit. When Marlon started, if Walter Cronkite said it, that was it, and he was providing an end run, an alternative. Now we have many more voices, but the problem is sometimes people don't know who to trust. And I hope that most people would consider Point of View and the guests that we have are a place where you could place your trust as well as your financial investment.
Absolutely. And again, the number to call is 800-347-5151, 800-347-5151. The issue is, it is, again, all about truth. Everybody debates. Well, what's your personal truth? Well, wait a minute, time out. There's no such thing as a personal truth. Right. There's truth with a capital T. You have eternal truth, and you have everything else that doesn't work. And so if you're not dealing with what really is eternal truth, which only comes from sources that relate to the Bible, it has to be coming out of that source, not all these other sources, and you're going to be misled. And unfortunately, a lot of people are misled every single day by the media and all the other voices in this arena that we're in. So I would encourage you again to be a part of the team, to get engaged, get in the battle, and help us out at 800-347-5151, 800-347-5151.
Brad?
And to help encourage you even further, we have some dear friends of the ministry who believe what we're talking about here. They believe in Point of View, and they have banded together financially, and we have a $5,500 match challenge right now that just came through the door. We're ready to introduce to you right now. That means this. If you give that $1 a day and become a Truth Team member, that's $360 for the year. It's doubled to $720. I don't do math on the air live. I try not to anyway. So, but every dollar you give, $100 single gift becomes $200. That's $65 a minute. If you want to give at that level, becomes double. $100 a month becomes $200 a month. That's the way it works up to the $5,500 on the table right now. Just another reason to give and to actually double your money and double your gift. 800-347-5151. This is crunch time.
Yes.
Do you believe in what we should be doing, and do you believe we should continue? Yes or no? I'm not threatening to go off the air. I don't want to be misunderstood. But I'm saying we have basic finances and expenses we need to take care of. And we cannot do this without you. We've never been able to do it without you for 43 years. Nothing's different now. We still need you. 1-800-347-5151. That's toll free 800-347-5151. Believe it or not, the lines are wide open. So plenty of room for you to get in and out quickly with your gift of support. Please don't delay.
$5,500 or $5,500, and that's a bundle of people saying,
yes,
we really believe in what you're doing. And we talked about, Brad, the fact that Point of View is a megaphone. So would you invest in the megaphone?
That's right.
Would you help us continue to broadcast?
To give
and
a voice.
Maybe even get even larger, because there are some places and some things we'd like to do. And as you said, even this week, we've got some dreams and some plans, but only that can happen if, first of all, we get to the first base before we get to the second base. So again, we, without hesitation, ask you to consider calling right now as we go to a break. This is a perfect time to give a call. 1-800-347-5151. 1-800-347-5151.
We have 4 lines open right now, so there's room for you to give us a call right now. We'll get your call immediately.
So again, if you would like to also go online, it is pointofview.net. Click on that button that says join our team. We want you to join with us, and we need some more phone calls.
Yes, we do. 1-800-347-5151. Call now.
We'll be right back.
Jonah was mad about God's mercy toward Nineveh. The Lord said in Jonah chapter 4, 120,000 people there don't know their right hand from their left. Now tell me, which is more difficult, telling right from left, or knowing the difference between a boy and a girl? Is America in worse shape than wicked Nineveh? 330 million Americans need God's truth. We need Point of View Radio. Please join the Truth Team. $30 a month supports our work, and you can choose between 2 gifts, a Point of View tote bag or a sport bag. $65 a month underwrites 1 minute of our broadcast, and you can get both bags. For $100 a month, you get the tote and sport bags and an executive travel bag. Whether you give monthly or just this one time for now, please call or go online now. 1-800-347-5151. and pointofview.net. Click on Donate Now for a one-time gift or become a monthly partner. 800-347-5151 and pointofview.net. Point of View will continue after this.
You are listening to Point of View. The opinions expressed on Point of View do not necessarily reflect the views of the management or staff of this station. And now, here again, is Kerby Anderson.
Truth Team 360 in studio with me today, Brad Fisk as well as Jerry Tuma, and we have a $5,500 match on the table. That means your gift right now will be doubled. And how are we doing, Brad?
Okay, some early people checking in here, thanks to a friend from Illinois with a gift, another friend from Illinois with a gift, and then, this one is a monthly gift. It is, and also it will, that $360, $1 a day, is going to become $720. Checking in from Louisiana. So thank you very much for that. Now there's room for you. Right now I'm looking and the lines are wide open again. So here's the phone number, because we have a $1 for $1 match challenge. What that means is you give a single gift or a monthly gift of any amount up to the $5,500 level, it will be matched by some other friends of the ministry. This money's not in our totals right now, and we cannot release it into our total until it's matched. So there really is a sense of urgency here to have you respond during these matches, because they critically help us grow the ministry financially to where it needs to be fully funded. 1-800-347-5151. That's toll free, 1-800-347-5151. 5151, and you can also give online anytime at pointofview.net. That's pointofview.net, and just click on join the team and you're in.
We would encourage those of you that maybe have supported this ministry to consider what you would do, not only to support us, but to increase it. And Ivan had this to say about his desire to actually increase his giving. So let's see if we can, in just a minute, have a chance to hear from Ivan.
Hey, I just wanted to say I'm really grateful for your show. I am increasingly dismayed at not only the slanted coverage that mainstream media provides, but the lack of coverage. If I hadn't listened to Point of View, I know people who don't even know there's a difference between embryonic stem cells and adult stem cells. And I'm talking intelligent, fairly educated people had no idea. And I wouldn't have known if I had not listened to your show. And I currently give money to some Christian organizations, and I give somewhat to you guys, but I'm going to increase that amount because I think you guys are so important.
So again, just an opportunity for you to invest in the ministry. 1-800-347-5151. And again, we talk oftentimes, Jerry Tuma, about investment, but there are two kinds of investments. One is investment in the stock market or in real estate, but this is kind of an eternal investment, don't you think?
It is, Kerby. And, one of the really fun things about this, I know as an investment advisor how hard it is to double your money. And if somebody comes up to you on the street or even in his office and says, by the way, you're going to be able to double your money overnight, run, do not walk to the nearest exit, get away from that person. It is a ripoff. This is not. This is real. You can actually double your money in about 30 seconds here. If you call 800-347-5151, 800-347-5151 and pledge, hey guys, how else are you going to be able to double your money overnight? Well, in just a few seconds. I think it's an incredible opportunity. And again, you can count on your money is going to be put to eternal uses. Someday we're all going to stand before the Lord, and he's going to say, hey, by the way, what'd you do with that stuff that I gave you down there? Did you do a good job of taking care of this? This, again, is a way you can get involved. You can change our country's trajectory, or the way our country's going. 800-347-5151.
Brad, you talked about the fact that our culture and our country are not moving towards biblical values, but moving away.
That's right.
And that's changing the trajectory, and that's what we're all about.
It is indeed. And many times we're a lone voice out there amongst the wolves. And it's so important to have this voice continue forward. It really is critical. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll just ask the question. I'm talking especially to parents and grandparents. Here's the question I want to ask. Do you really care what kind of a world your children and your grandchildren are going to walk into as they reach adulthood? What are things going to be like? What is going to be the state of religious liberty? Are they going to even have the freedom to worship anymore, or is that going to be gone? Yeah. There are so many attacks on truth, on biblical truth. I'll never forget the day I heard when the Supreme Court redefined marriage, and I'm thinking, now wait a minute. God defined marriage, and it's worked fine for a couple thousand years or however long. But what are you changing it for? Yeah. What is going on here? So there is an agenda on the other side called Satan. There is spiritual warfare. It is real. And we ask you to please prayerfully consider standing with us. This is critical times, and we really do need to have you stand with us financially, not because we're asking you to, but because we believe God wants you to. 800-347-5151. 5151. Every single line should be filled right now. I'm a little flummoxed why it's not.
Yeah.
Every dollar you give right now is going to be matched dollar for dollar. 1-800-347-5151. Looking for caller number 1, caller number 2, caller number 3, caller number 4. For you right now, go to the phones.
We certainly do need to hear from you. We've just been talking about religious liberty. We heard Tim LaHaye talk about it. You heard Brad talk about it the other day. We had Al Mohler talking about that, Gary Bauer and some others. But one of the individuals that's certainly been addressing this issue of religious liberty is John Stonestreet. You hear his voice on Breakpoint, and now he's with the Colson Center. He was in studio recently to say this.
There's a lot of radio shows on the air that do a terrific job teaching the Bible. A lot of Christians struggle to understand the culture. There's a lot of craziness happening. It's a lot of confusion. A lot of Christians are just confused about it. Not only do we need to understand God's Word, we have to understand God's world in light of God's Word. As a speaker and author, I host my own radio program as well, but finding someone who asks really good questions and is really prepared that's not always the case. Kerby is a great interviewer. I always appreciate the depth to which he takes whatever topic we're talking about, whether it's my, a recent book or whether it's something going on in the news. Kirby understands the issue and he knows how to ask the right questions to get at the heart of things. We all know how rare it is to get the sort of cutting-edge biblical analysis of current events and cultural issues that you get every single day at Point of View. But Point of View can't do it without the support of listeners. I encourage it. If you benefit from Point of View, show your appreciation by praying for the ministry and seriously consider financially supporting Point of View. The church needs what it provides.
John Stonestreet talking about this, and again, you can watch the video on our website, pointofview.net, and a little bit later, of course, you'll even have a chance to see and hear some of the material that Bob Allen's put down there. So again, you can go to the website to find this material, but as you go to the website, click on that button that says Join Our Team, or if you'd like to give us a call right now, that number, 800-347-5151. Either go to the website or call, but don't let this $5,500 match stay on the table. No. I would never, can you imagine having $5,000 sitting on this table and everybody walks by and say, well, just leave it there. I'm not going to pick it up.
Could we even clear it up by the end of this hour? That'd be really critical if we could do that. By the end of this hour, give us a call, 1-800-347-5151. A couple of lines are available.
Well, and again, these are individuals that have gathered together to actually say, yeah, we want to put some money on the table. We're going to give to you what we gave ahead of time. Last week, they pledged that, and in some cases already have given that. And so that's why the odd amount, $5,500. Right. And so those are individuals that are saying, we really believe in Point of View. Can't you come with us and join with us as well? And Jerry, again, can you imagine leaving $5,000 on a table and walking by?
No, I can't, Kirby. And one of the things we talked about a moment ago is the issue of fear. A lot of people are, well, I'm worried about the future. Well, I understand. That's good and fine, but you can't let that disable you. You can't let that take you back. The Apostle Paul told his spiritual son, if you will, Timothy, he said, God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and of a sound mind. Now, the Apostle Paul, he didn't shrink back from the battle. This is an army. This is a team, yes, but it's an army. And essentially, he went through some tough stuff, but guess what? He didn't shrink back. I mean, we cannot be, as Christians, on the one hand, we can't be angry, blast you, judgmental kind of people. At the same time, we cannot shrink back from the battle, because I don't care how hard it's going to get. We're not supposed to give up. We're part of God's army. The issue is you can't have Christians over here going, oh, it's too hard. I don't want to do this, kind of thing. What you got to do is you got to get involved. You got to get involved in the war, in the battle. Yes, it's a battle over our culture. But you know what? God's smarter and stronger than Satan is. So we don't have to lose this battle, and by golly, we're not going to lose it. But in order for us not to lose it, you got to get involved, and you got to be a part of this team. We're asking you to do it right now, 800-347-5151.
That's 800-347-5151. We do not, what I'm hearing you say is we don't live with the spirit of fear.
Absolutely not.
We live with a spirit of victory.
Don't get out of God's economy. God's economy is not necessarily the world's economy. He can can fix things even when it looks
Absolutely.
a little bit different in the world.
Amen and amen.
Well, again, we have to take a break, but when we come back, we're going to hear a little bit more from Jerry Tuma. We're going to hear from Bob Allen, but most importantly, we need to hear from you right now. And if indeed you run into a busy signal, which rarely happens, but if it does, just wait a second and call back. But I also encourage you, as you're listening to some of the content, if some of you are in front of a computer, you can simply go to our website, pointofview.net, and click on Join Our Team. There you will see the 3 different bags that we're making available, as well as, of course, don't forget, we're still making available the Declaration of Independence and Constitution,
awesome.
which we're giving to everybody.
Yeah.
So you can assess what the giving level might be, but what we're looking for is a monthly gift. $1 a day, $30 a month, $360 a year. Some of you might be able to give $100 a month. That's $1,200 a year, but that $1,200 becomes $2,400.
That's correct. That's a great time to give right now.
Please give. 1-800-347-5151. We'll be right back.
Point of View, Truth Team 360. Matt Staver.
We often take for granted the fact that we have good voices and information coming from ministries like Point of View. But I know, having traveled around the world, when I want to get good news about what's happening in our country or what's happening around the world, that news is just simply not there. Or if it's there, it's coming from a very slanted, very radical, left-leaning, anti-Judeo-Christian perspective. News that you really can't trust. So I think it's critically important that we support Point of View, because it is doing a tremendous ministry here in this country. And if we don't support it, that ministry will ultimately lose its voice. That would be a critical absence that would clearly affect our Christian communities. It's absolutely critical that we support Point of View.
Point of View. Truth Team 360.
Matt Staver, who, by the way, is defending our Kim Davis in Kentucky, the county clerk that said, well, wait a minute, Kentucky has a definition of marriage just because 5 justices in Washington, D.C. wanted to change it. So he understands this only so well, doesn't he, Brad?
He does indeed.
Yeah.
He does indeed.
Let's, if we can, also hear from Rhonda, because she's very appreciative of the program.
At my church, I'm the public affairs representative. I obtain information about political affairs that are going on. I just wanted to say thank you for your programs. I listen to you every day, and you're really my inspiration to do what I do at my church. I feel capable, mostly from what I learned from your programs.
I wished more churches had a public affair or a public policy type representative. What a great idea. So I love that.
Family Research Council has now developed what are called cultural impact groups, and they're doing that more and more, and we're going to be working on that for this upcoming election as well.
Match update.
Yes,
okay, we started with $5,500 a while ago. We are down to $4,000 remaining. So I'm encouraged by the gifts that have come in, but we're not there yet. Okay, we still got to get her done. So we're asking you to call at 1-800-347-5151. That's toll free. 1-800-347-5151. Opportunity for you to get on the phone in a quick order and make your gift of support. Looking especially for that $1 a day. Come on, you guys. $1 a day. We can do that. A lot of people can do that. In fact, it leads me to my question.
Go for it.
I would like to ask Jerry. Let's imagine for a minute a typical family, middle class. They got a bit of a mortgage left. They have a couple of cars. They have a few kids and a pet and the whole deal. And what does the future look like for them, especially in the whole area of economics and the whole area of money and banks and investing? What's the forecast here a little bit?
Well, I think, we're in a record slow economy right now. Now, I'll preface that by saying again, we are not going to be in a spirit of fear about this whole thing, just like Paul told Timothy. I do think that the world's changing, though. China has become, basically the second leading economy of the world, and they're the growth engine of the world. Longer term, they've got a lot of growth ahead of them, but in the short run, it's kind of like, when you have a turkey dinner and you get in a turkey coma, you got way too much to digest all at once. China's gone overboard with debt, and a lot of the other what we call emerging markets have done so as well. So that's causing some indigestion, if you want to say so, in the world economy. In the next 2 years, 3 years, probably not 2, in the next 18 to 24 months, I think we're going to have some dislocations. I'm also concerned about the Middle East and how that will affect oil, because a lot of those countries need $100 a barrel for oil and they're getting 40-something, and that's going to have some political impact. So I do think on the one hand, it's going to be an unstable time in the world. The good news about it is the U.S. economy has been slowly healing. I don't see a big dislocation in the U.S. economy. For people that are really heavy in the stock market, I think you might want to think about lightening up, and I can't give specific recommendations there, but I think it's overvalued and overleveraged. But for the average person that's listening to my voice today, I think most of the U.S. economy is going to kind of sail through this. We are more insulated from what I see happening worldwide than any other country out there. And on the long run, we're still growing. I mean, we are the anchor of the world economy. I think the U.S. economy will continue to prosper long term. But we do have some issues, and we're going to have to fight those issues, especially as it relates to our culture. Eventually, the government and the government debt, those are kind of things that are going to come about in the next 10 or 15 years.
Short answer, how long can we continue to raise this debt ceiling? See, the debt thing really has me a bit concerned. Thinking, you can't keep doing that. I can't do that. Why can they?
Eventually, you can't spend more than you're taking in forever. The government has a printing press, so it can do it longer than anyone else. I think over 10 to 15 years, that's going to become a big issue. It's not that big of an issue right at the moment.
And to turn that around to the positive, we're asking friends. I mean, there's no reason to hold back, because we are the voice, one of the few voices that are talking about economic common sense.
Yes,
are we not?
Common sense. And yeah, you get a lot of it from Jerry when we have him on.
And what I was going to say, Kerby and Brad, is that I use a slogan in a lot of the seminars that I do, a lot of teaching and a lot of investment and economic stuff. Challenging times create opportunity, period.
That's right.
That involves both the economic realm and the various markets, but it also involves our culture. In other words, if we have challenging times in our country, and I think you'd almost have to be blind to think that there are no challenges in our future right now with what's happening in the Supreme Court and stuff. But the good news is all that creates opportunity. In our case, what are you going to think about in 100 years? 100 years from now, is spending money on the next DVR, whatever, going to make a difference? No, but you can make a difference today in what's eternal. That's eternal truth. Invest in that program. That's why we want you to call 800-347-5151.
Theme this week is about the Founding Fathers. Let's hear what Bob Allen has to say.
America's founding fathers recognized that one of the keys in forming a lasting and effective government is an accurate anthropology. You need to have a right view of those who will govern and be governed. If men were angels, wrote James Madison in Federalist Number 51, no government would be necessary. Madison was echoing the great spark of the Reformation, Martin Luther, who said, "If all the world were true Christians, there would be neither need nor use for princes, kings, lords, the sword or law. What would there be for them to do?" It was this understanding that the hearts of men are deceitful and desperately sick, to borrow from the prophet Jeremiah in chapter 17, that led our founders to divide and significantly limit government power. It led to an emphasis on checks and balances. Many find an image of our three branches of government outlined in Isaiah chapter 33. The Lord is our judge, judicial. The Lord is our lawgiver, legislative. The Lord is our king, executive. God is able to justly handle all three duties. Fallen men, not so much. Wise Christians will always oppose power being placed in fewer and fewer hands, whether it's a president with his pen and phone, a Speaker of the House demanding changes in procedure, or judges failing to interpret the law and instead making their own. Since America's original political wisdom was derived from God through His Word, Christians must again become leaders in political philosophy, and Christ followers should seek to serve their communities in elected office. Otherwise, only those who don't recognize God and these restraints will. You tell me, is that a good thing? For Point of View, I'm Bob Allen with a point to ponder.
Wow. Just think about the fact that you heard this. Isaiah 33 gave us the separation of powers. Mm-hmm. You probably heard that nowhere else except right here on
correct.
Point of View. That's worth supporting Point of View for that reason alone.
It is alone. That's exactly right. We are telling the truth unadulterated and bringing you topics. I'll even talk about some of that the next hour. 1-800-347-5151. We have lines available. We still have a lion's share of the match yet to get done. Every dollar you give right now is doubled up to $5,500. 1-800-347-5151.
Jerry, I want to thank you for joining with us. You've been a good friend all these years, and thank you for being here. And again, we encourage people to do what they can to support this ministry. $5,500 match on the table. We've worked through some of it, but we need to hear from you. We need monthly gifts. And so again, as we go to a break, this is an opportunity for you to call. We have individuals standing by those phones, looking at us right now, looking at those phones, waiting for them to ring.
They are.
And so here it is, 800-347-5151. I know sometimes you don't call because you don't want to miss any content. This is a time to call, 800-347-5151.
Thank you, Jerry.
If not, visit the website, pointofview.net. Jerry, here, we'll do it again sometime.
That was great.
We'll be right back.
Jonah was mad about God's mercy toward Nineveh. The Lord said in Jonah chapter 4, 120,000 people there don't know their right hand from their left. Now tell me, which is more difficult, telling right from left or knowing the difference between a boy and a girl? Is America in worse shape than wicked Nineveh? 330 million Americans need God's truth. We need Point of View Radio. Please join the Truth Team. $30 a month supports our work, and you can choose between two gifts, a Point of View tote bag or a sport bag. $65 a month underwrites 1 minute of our broadcast, and you can get both bags. For $100 a month, you get the tote and sport bags and an executive travel bag. Whether you give monthly or just this one time for now, please call or go online now, 1-800-347-5151 and pointofview.net. Click on Donate Now for a one-time gift or become a monthly partner. 800-347-5151 and pointofview.net. Point of View will continue after this.
I just thank God for y'all. I listen to you every day, truly. I wanted to thank y'all for everything you do each day to inform Christian families and our community about the things we can do, and just the way you're so informative. I listen to you daily and love you guys and appreciate you so much.
God bless you, Kerby, for keeping this show so on track and for the decades of wonderful help to this nation that Point of View has been. We're all big fans of your work, and we pray that God will just prosper it.
As a Christian, over the years that I've followed this program, I am constantly challenged to be on guard and to evaluate what's going on. And if for no other reason, to protect the caliber and the truth of your programming, I need to participate and to back your program financially to ensure that the truth stays out there for people to hear, to view, and to be a part of.
This is Point of View Radio.
Hi, this is Kerby Anderson. Each day we take on the tough issues and provide a biblical perspective to them. The topics we cover are wide-ranging. Apologetics, theology, prophecy, creation and evolution, intelligent design, marriage, family, child-rearing, the millennial generation, trends in society, politics, economics, business, religious liberty, the Constitution, public policy, foreign policy, military policy, tensions in the Middle East, abortion, homosexuality, pornography, sexual ethics, media, technology, history, and America's godly heritage. We talk about anything that affects your faith, your family, or your freedom. So don't go anywhere, because Point of View continues right now.
America Live. This is Point of View. And now, Kerby Anderson.
Fourth day of Truth Team 360. If you have not given, we certainly do need to hear from you. We have a match on the table, $5,500. And if you would like to join with us, that number is 800-347-5151. Pray about it, but we really do need to hear from you. 800-347-5151. In studio with me, Brad Fisk, and we are certainly moving down the road, but we have a lot more to do, don't we?
We do indeed. And we're down, by the way, on the match challenge to $1,955, and that will be cared for. That is money that's sitting outside of our total. As you give, every dollar you give will be matched, and we pull that into our total so that we can actually use it and count it. But we can't until you do that. Let me break down Truth Team for just a quick moment. This is what we're doing. Truth Team 360. It's an entire emphasis week this week, and what it's about is this. We believe that our culture, our society is redefining truth time and time and time again. Back in, 1973, babies were being redefined. What were babies? What were not babies?
Yes.
We were redefining marriage just in the past, in less than a year. Marriage has been redefined with a new idea and a new twist that is not biblical. So it's standing for biblical values. If you stand for biblical values, well, we do too, but we need your support to continue to do what we're doing. 1-800-347-5151. Do you want Point of View to continue? Do you want us to continue to watch your back, as I like to say? Because you know what? If you're like me, you're busy living life. You're busy doing a lot of stuff, and you may not catch the program every day. But there's ways that we can be informed through the website and other means by Point of View and the team here at Point of View, so that they've got our back. We know that somebody's watching out for our religious liberties. 1-800-347-5151.
We really do need monthly support. We appreciate some of the one-time gifts that have come in today, but we recognize that just as we have monthly expenses, we need monthly income. And for as little as $1 a day, $30 a month, you're part of that team. And that gives us an opportunity to really begin to build a strong foundation.
That's right.
And I've seen sometimes giving up and down, and certainly would be nice to be able to have that kind of stability. So as you join with the team, you help us really build that solid foundation.
I'm going to flat out and say $1 a day, $360 a year. For most families within the sound of my voice right now, that's doable. By the way, you can also give at pointofview.net, pointofview.net, and click on Join the Team, and all the information is there about the giving levels, and we have a couple more you could tell us about. So the first giving level, what I call the basic buy-in, is that $1 a day, the bedrock, $1 a day. That's $360 for the year, but we have a couple other giving levels.
We certainly do, and that is if you wanted to sponsor just a minute a month, that's $65 a month.
Yep.
That's $780 for the year. You might say, well, I couldn't write you a check for $780, but I can certainly come up with $65 every month. And then, of course, we also have another level, the $100 level. And again, you probably say, well, I probably couldn't write a check for $1,200, but $100 a month over the year, it becomes $1,200. And more importantly, with this match, $1,200 becomes $2,400.
Isn't that amazing?
That's incredible.
That's incredible. So we invite you to give us a call, 1-800-347-5151. 5151. That's 800-347-5151. And again, pointofview.net. You'll get right in there. Of course, there's no busy signal or no waiting at all, nor there is on the phones right now either. So we're good to go there.
Speaking of waiting, we're waiting for just a minute. We're going to be hearing from Representative Louie Gohmert. You've heard me say this before. Members of Congress do not control their lives, but I suspect that he will be joining us shortly. We're going to be talking about what's happening in Israel and the Middle East and much more. But, some of you are new listeners, and you might say, well, I'm just starting to learn a little bit about Point of View. Let's hear from Darren. He was a new listener.
Listen, I wanted to make a quick comment. I'm a relatively new listener to the show, and I really kind of stumbled upon it more than anything because I'm doing some driving now that I wasn't in the past. And my comment really is I think you guys and gals are more right on about now than anything I've heard. I go home and I tell my wife, you've got to hear what they're talking about on the show. It's just so right on. And I tell my parents the same thing.
And so, again, you get an idea that some people are just saying, I don't hear this anywhere else, but I hear it on Point of View. Right. And even in the last hour, we talked about some of the things you heard on Point of View you probably have not heard before. Right. Bob Allen's piece, for example. Right. You're going to hear in just a few minutes from Louie Gohmert all sorts of things that you say, well, why don't we provide a megaphone for some of those individuals? So that is the case. Let me also go to one of the guests on our program, Mike Johnson, because he also is an individual that has been fighting for these issues of religious liberty, and he really encourages you to support Point of View.
When you consider the liberal, ungodly media that is out there today and the enormous amount of money and backing that is behind them, that is flooding our homes, that is flooding our country with lies, with discontent, with despair, then what else could we do than support a program like Point of View? Do we really care about the people that we're reaching through Point of View? Do we really care about giving them hope, about putting out a message of truth and countering the lies that they're getting from the rest of the media? I think really the question comes down to is, do we really care about people? It isn't so much supporting a radio program. Of course, it costs money to keep it going. It costs money to pay for computers, for research, for the personnel. But really what you're supporting when you send your financial support to Point of View is you're supporting the needs of individual people that are being impacted by it. And I believe that every individual who hears this program, who has a heart for other people, has a responsibility to support it, because if it's not supported and if it were to go off the air, then what we're really talking about is a failure on our part to communicate a message of hope and truth to people who really need it.
So again, Mike Johnson, again, here I noticed something, Brad, and that is these individuals that are fighting these religious liberty battles. We've already had a chance to hear today with Matt Staver. We heard a little bit Tim LaHaye mentioning that. Now Mike Johnson. Tomorrow we'll have, of course, Kelly Shackelford will be in studio a little bit with us. These individuals recognize how we are really at the precipice. We're really at the edge.
That's right.
They recognize that they are seeing Supreme Court votes 5-4, 6-3. Even the other day we were talking with Gary Bauer, this one T-shirt guy, he wins, but again, it was a close vote. Right. I mean, they recognize that we are just, one election away, one misstep away from losing our culture, and that's why you hear that sense of, please get involved and give to ministries that are valuable, and certainly one of those I hope would be on your list is Point of View.
We may not say this often enough. I agree with everything you're saying, but, ultimately, when you boil it all down to the very essence, it's about the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Yes.
It's about biblical values. It's about living in a biblical way. And really that's the heartbeat of this program is to enable you and to empower you to walk the biblical road. And you can do that every single day with us, but we need your help. We do this a couple times a year. We really need to hear from you at 1-800-347-5151. All the lines are open. Here's what I'd love to do. Could we get 4 of you to go to the phones right now? So I'm looking through the glass in the phone room. And let's get every operator on the line. 800-347-5151. That's 800-347-5151. Come on, let's get 4 people to the phones.
And if you can't get to the phone and you have a computer, just go online and join the team. Pointofview.net. We'll be right back.
This is Viewpoints with Kerby Anderson.
You had to see this coming. A recent article in Irish News argues that gay cousins should be allowed to marry each other following the same-sex marriage referendum. After all, the only reason we don't allow cousins to marry is to protect the genetic pool. This wouldn't be a problem for gay cousins. Dr. Michael Brown, who supports traditional marriage, takes their argument one step further and asks in a recent column, why can't two gay brothers marry? He points out that once you throw out biblical norms, then just about anything could be done. One of the strongest arguments, he says, against consensual adult incest is that incestuous relationships actually result in children with genetic defects. If that's not possible in a gay union, why not allow gay brothers or gay sisters to marry? The argument we get these days from the gay lobby is that the prohibition in Leviticus 18 against homosexuality should not apply today. Well, a few verses earlier are verses that prohibit incest. If we're throwing out biblical prohibitions against homosexuality, then why shouldn't we throw out biblical prohibitions against incest? Michael Brown has been talking about the attempts to normalize consensual adult incest, and when he was on the Piers Morgan show 2 years ago, he was told that his concerns were ridiculous and silly. Already some European countries have lifted legal sanctions against incestuous relationships. A number of academics have been arguing for something similar in this country, and we have a few court cases advocating for consensual adult incest. This is what happens when society rejects the biblical norm for marriage. Most of the arguments for same-sex marriage could also be a compelling argument for polygamy as well as incest. When we raised these questions and concerns in the past, we were told not to worry. But we could see it coming, and now it's almost here. I'm Kerby Anderson, and that's my point of view.
Take Kerby and the Point of View team with you on the go with the Point of View app. Search for Point of View Radio at the Apple or Google Play stores. Point of View, Truth Team 360, Eric Metaxas.
I would urge anybody who listens to Point of View to understand that unless you are willing to pay something, you can think of it as your tithe as far as I'm concerned, pay something because this is ministry. And people often ask me, what's your favorite scripture? And I joke around. My joke answer is from Exodus, thou shalt not muzzle the ox which treadeth out the corn. That's not really my favorite scripture, but it's a place in the Pentateuch, early on in Scripture, that lets us know that those of us who are working in ministry, we need to be supported. Point of View it's important, it's entertaining, it's vibrant. I hope that folks who listen already know that, and I'm just here to remind them that they should think about supporting it. But I think this is an important ministry. Kerby Anderson is doing the Lord's work, and I would encourage you to step up to the plate. They need your help.
Point of View, Truth Team 360.
You knew with Eric Metaxas he'd have some joke, and that is do not muzzle the ox. I knew I'd get that one. Brad Fisk with me, and we're going to be talking with Representative Louie Gohmert in just a minute. But Truth Team 360, we have the match, $5,500 on the table. Where do we stand right now?
We're down to $1,955 to go, and we will be there. So let's not leave that on the table. And we really only have until the end of this hour.
Yes.
So, and it's gone. Okay, so do you want the money to walk out the door, or do you want it to go into our funds to help us do the radio program? There's the question to be asked and answered for today. 1-800-347-5151. I want to point out a couple of people who called in in the last few moments. Here's one listener. They were flipping through the channels this afternoon, and they heard us for the very first time, and they gave us a gift.
Wow.
And that was from, what state was that? That was Oklahoma.
Yeah.
How about that? So we hear about those stories happening. It actually does.
It actually happened. What about all these people who've been listening for years and haven't given? Yeah,
that's right. That's right. Okay, and here's another listener from California who are already a True Team member. They called back to say, I'm going to do a single gift as well.
That's great.
So I call
We've talked about increasing.
That's right. Double dipping. Okay, double your fun. You can give monthly and you can give singly. People do that, and it's a fun way to do it. 1-800-347-5151. 800-347-5151. Of course, you can always give at pointofview.net and click on Join the Team.
Let's, if we can, welcome to the microphone Representative Louie Gohmert, a very good friend of this ministry, representing the 1st District of Texas. He was a JAG and, of course, has also been very involved in the military in the past, and so understands the nation. And especially when we talk about Israel and the Middle East, we certainly count on him to give us a very important perspective. And Representative Louie Gohmert, just great to have you on the program with us today.
Kerby, you know I love talking to you anytime whatsoever. You are fantastic. You're a speaker of the truth, and I just love you and all those folks there at Point of View, but I'm a little confused. Was Eric McTaxis, our friend, was he calling you an ox?
I've been called worse. So have you. Isn't that a great line?
I just wasn't sure. Now, I'm sitting in my office in Washington, and I know here I've been called the north end of a southbound mule, but I just never really imagined that you would be called an ox.
Isn't that fun?
Wow.
You must be from Texas.
But, hey, I'm not kidding, though. You speak the truth. It's just fantastic to have somebody that survived the education that you did, including Ivy League, and still have the clarity, the wisdom. I mean, it's a miracle.
You're very nice. You know, one of the things we like to talk about now, Louie, is that you, when you came on this program, began to realize that you could be kind of a co-host with me, and now you're the guest host for Sean Hannity. But you kind of got some of your radio start right here on Point of View, didn't you?
No, I didn't get some of my start. I mean, co-hosting with you when you said so many times, "Hey, come in, just sit, co-host with me." That was the first anybody had ever done that. You did that before anybody did. And I don't know. Yeah, Sean's had me on as a guest host several times. But and our friend Tony Perkins at the Family Research Council, he has an hour-long show late in the afternoon at Washington Watch. And he's had me host several times for him, including last week. But Kerby, you gave me that start, and I felt like you were doing it just because, you know, you're such a sympathetic guy. You see somebody that's just pitiful, and you feel like, I want to give them a chance, you know, try to make something of themselves. So I appreciate, whether it was out of pity or whatever, I just appreciate all the opportunity you've given. But the more I'm around you, the more it's confirmed you're just a wonderful, smart, wise person, and I don't throw out the W word very often.
Well, we're encouraging our listeners to support Point of View. What would you say to any of our listeners that are thinking, is it worth my financial investment to make a gift to Point of View?
I hear all over the country as I travel all over the country, and I'll be leaving for Charleston and make a speech there tomorrow before I head back to Deer, Texas. But everywhere I go, I hear people that you have influenced, that Point of View has affected, and all of those, not just today, but Penna when she's on, all the folks that you have on, you have made such a difference. And what I've seen when I've heard people talk about, that guy was such a good candidate, I never understood why he didn't get elected. Well, many times I can tell you why a good candidate doesn't get elected. People don't give them enough contributions so that they can be heard in the media enough. And same way in radio and television, but especially where, as in your case, you don't have commercials, basically. This is it. You rely on people to contribute, and if they don't contribute, then that truth does not get heard. You are such an invaluable voice. You and everybody that you share your microphone with, it just scares me to think about that voice of reason, a Christian voice, a wise man with that. Just, of course, I love your voice, but the word that comes from someone who's not a natural man. You're an extraordinary Christian, and the thought of that being silenced because not enough people were able to reach in and help out financially is really kind of a scary proposition.
Well, thank you.
And I hate to think about what would happen if your voice were silenced just because the money was not there to stay on the air.
Thank you for that. I'll say thank you for Kerby. He's blushing.
That's very nice.
But
again, 1-800-347-5151. Yeah. Let me just, before we get to the break, though, and after we come back, I want to talk a little bit more about that, but we're all very concerned about what's happening in the Middle East, and the president's conviction is, well, we'll send 50 individuals over there as advisors. That didn't work very well when we sent advisors over to Vietnam. I mean, do we really think that sending 50 advisors is going to do any change and make any impact on ISIS? What are your thoughts?
Well, not the way he's sending them, Kerby, and this is exactly the kind of insight I'm talking about. You have it, and this is spiritually discerned, and this is wisdom that, as we know, comes beginning wisdom is fear of the Lord. But you have it, and you spot it, and of course, these 50 could make an incredible difference, but they won't because they're not going to be allowed to. If you look at the 200 to 300 that we sent over to be embedded in Afghanistan, they were incredible troops, just like the 50 that will be sent over. The difference is we had 24/7 aerial support. We gave them heavy weapons, and so the Northern Alliance in Afghanistan was able to defeat the Taliban in 5 months where there was no organized Taliban. Now, after that, we added tens of thousands, and we lost the occupation pretty much, but 50 could make a difference, but only if we gave the Kurds the weapons they need, and they're up there fighting for all they've got. They're given all they have.
Yes.
But they don't have the weapons. And Kerby,
let's talk about that when we come back from the break.
I was over there. Yeah, I was over there in the command center watching video feed of an American up-armored vehicle that was made by ISIS into suicide bomb, and the Kurds had nothing but the smallest caliber. The 223 is all they had, and we will not give them heavy weapons. So 50,
good words.
No.
Yeah, we'll come back and talk a little bit more about it. We're coming up to a break here, but I do want to, just before we go to the break, talk a little bit more about the Peshmerga and Kurds and all that, but we have a break, and just before we do so, this is a great time, Brad, for individuals that want to help us with the match.
It is.
We still have the match on the table. That means dollar for dollar, your gift. And again, let's go to the break. And if you'd like to join us, 1-800-347-5151. We'll continue our conversation for a few more minutes with Representative Louie Gohmert.
Every dollar you give right now, monthly dollar, single dollar, will be doubled up to the maximum match. 1-800-347-5151.
You don't want to miss what we were going to talk about with Louie Gohmert, so that's a good time to call right now and not miss it. 1-800-347-5151, 1-800-347-5151, or pointofview.net. We'll be right back.
Jonah was mad about God's mercy toward Nineveh. The Lord said in Jonah chapter 4, 120,000 people there don't know their right hand from their left. Now tell me, which is more difficult, telling right from left or knowing the difference between a boy and a girl? Is America in worse shape than wicked Nineveh? 330 million Americans need God's truth. We need Point of View Radio. Please join the Truth Team. $30 a month supports our work, and you can choose between two gifts, a Point of View tote bag or a sport bag. $65 a month underwrites 1 minute of our broadcast, and you can get both bags. For $100 a month, you get the tote and sport bags and an executive travel bag. Whether you give monthly or just this one time for now, please call or go online now, 1-800-347-5151 and pointofview.net. Click on Donate Now for a one-time gift or become a monthly partner. 800-347-5151 and pointofview.net. Point of View will continue after this.
are listening to Point of View. The opinions expressed on Point of View do not necessarily reflect the views of the management or staff of this station. And now, here again is Kerby Anderson.
Truth Team 360, Brad Fisk with us in studio, and we still have Representative Louie Gohmert by phone. But just before we get back to some of our conversation with him, how are we doing on our monthly giving, and in particular our $5,500 match?
Okay, we started with the match money toward the beginning of the program, and we want to get it all taken care of. Okay, so every dollar counts, every gift counts as we double this money with the match challenge. But more importantly is you're not giving for the match. You're actually giving because you believe in Point of View. You believe what our congressman just glowingly laid in the last break on you, Kerby, and he's right, because it takes somebody like you who is well versed in the issues, and we're all depending on you to watch our backs, as I said earlier. So the phone number to call to be a part of our Truth Team Week is 800-347-5151. That's 800-347-5151. All the lines are open right now, so there is room for you. We had a little flurry there during the break, but we're ready to take your call right now. You can go to pointofview.net anytime, 24/7, 365. Click on Join the Team and join us at the $360 level. That's $1 a day. We're just asking you to, come on, everybody, can't you do that? Maybe we have somebody at $65 a month who could give, and that's what it is for 1 minute of broadcast. How about the Century Team at $100 a month? And we've got some free gifts for you. You can read about that on the website, the bags from Land's End. They're wonderful welcome gifts to join the Truth Team. 800-347-5151. Let's have three of you right now pick up the phone to call and join us.
Or you can go to the website, pointofview.net. Privileged to have with us just a little bit longer Representative Louie Gohmert. And Louie, I did a commentary a while back in which I tried to just put some common sense out there. Number one, Vladimir Putin is in Syria right now, and we shouldn't consider him our friend. We've talked about the Kurds, but of course the problem is you have what's called the Foreign Assistance Act and the Arms Control Act, which prevent us from being able to get shipments of various kinds of weapons to the Kurds and the Peshmerga. We need to change that. And frankly, we still have air superiority. We need to, if Russia won't bomb ISIS into submission, we need to. What's wrong with my analysis?
There is nothing wrong with your analysis, but we could easily change that so that we could provide weapons directly to the Kurds.
Yes.
But, this administration says, no, we don't want to do that because we need to send them weapons through Baghdad. Well, they're not going to send heavy weapons to the Kurds, and as you know, it was the Iraqis, main soldiers that threw down their weapons that ran at the first sight of ISIS, and the Kurds, they're fighting with all they've got. So we should send them weapons directly. But I would add this, and you know the world over there very well, but Turkey is always concerned about Kurds wanting some of their southern area of their country. And there is the PKK that they were concerned about legitimately. And so my suggestion is we go ahead and announce, this administration, if they knew what they were doing, they would announce, we're going to take action so that we can ensure we can legally send weapons, heavy weapons, directly to the Kurds, because they're the only ones really fighting ICE. Russia said they would. They're not. The Kurds are fighting. We're going to send them weapons. We're going to give them aerial support 24/7. We're going to give them 200 to 300 embedded like we did in Afghanistan, and then wait for Turkey to scream bloody murder. You can't do that. And then our response diplomatically would be, well, nobody else is willing to fight them. But, hey, Turkey, you have maybe the strongest military in the region. You could take out ICE in no time by yourself. So here's the deal, Turkey. You won't even let us use our bases as we're supposed to be allowed to. So here's the deal. You take out ICE, and we won't have to arm the Kurds so fully. But if you don't, we're going to arm them to the teeth, give them aerial support, And good luck on your southern border. Hope that works out well for you.
Wow.
And then I really wouldn't care whether it was Turkey went ahead and stepped up and took out ISIS as they could by themselves, or whether we help our friends the Kurds to do that. But we need to do one or the other, and it would make all the difference in the world. Those people are suffering so.
Sure.
But we help the wrong people over there. This administration does.
We picked the wrong ones. We know who our allies are. That's Israel, maybe Jordan, but it's certainly not Syria. Brad, you had a question, though.
Well, Congressman, I was wondering, is there something that Joe Citizen can do to try to change our Mideast foreign policy in the Mideast? I mean, because Point of View is an action-taking program. We want to be doers. So is there anything we can do to affect a change? I mean, there's some terrible, silly decisions being made here in the Mideast that you're talking about.
So glad you would ask that, because there's always something to be done in America, particularly, especially with 2016 elections coming up and the primaries coming up. People will contact their favorite candidates for president in either party, or people they don't even like, but indicate to them, we need to stand up against ISIS and help the Kurds against ISIS, or I'm going to make sure we elect somebody that does. We will help once they finish giving all they can to keep Point of View on the air, and say, I'm going to then send some money to whoever stands up with the Kurds to help defeat ISIS. But, there's nobody taking these guys out. And I was talking to a Christian friend, just a real brother. He's former Special Forces. He is a child of Christian missionary parents to Thailand. He was here in Washington in September. He showed me my iPhone. He had been asked to come to the Kurdish area and give them advice on how to fight. And he showed me on his iPhone a video of these caravans, heavy trucks, one after another. He said there were 500 caravans a day going down this highway.
Oh, my goodness.
And everybody knew they're supplying ISIS.
Good.
And he said, I even talked to an A-10 pilot that was flying above, and he said, why don't you crater the road to stop the supplying of ISIS? And he said, I would love to, but our instructions are, the rules of engagement are this: we're not allowed to strafe any caravan, to take out any trucks, to crater the road, to stop the trucks, unless somebody in one of the caravans fires on my plane. Then I can do that. But ISIS understands that as long as you don't shoot at the U.S. planes, they are not allowed to crater the road or stop the caravan.
That's nuts.
So 500 trucks a day just back and forth to supply ISIS. We're not serious about stopping ISIS.
No, we're not.
And I say we, this president's not.
Yep.
So viewers need to let the White House know. They need to let Hillary Clinton know. They need to let their favorite candidate in the Republican Party know.
Good.
Need to let Bernie Sanders know we have got to stop ISIS, and we're going to vote for and help whoever's willing to do that.
Wonderful.
Louie Gohmert, we're just about ready to come up to a break here, but I just wanted to, again, thank you for taking time out of a busy schedule there in Washington, D.C., and say hello to our friends up there in Charleston, South Carolina, and anywhere else you happen to go,
Well,
because you are such a great friend of the ministry, and we appreciate you joining us today here on Point of View.
Thank you.
Thanks
for
to
standing
everybody
with us.
at Point of View, Kerby. God bless you. And folks that are listening, let's keep them on the air. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Let's just, before we take a break, hear from Tom, because he also wants to make sure that every Christian can hear this program.
I've called him before, and I just wanted to say again what a great show this is. And if all Christians would listen to Point of View, I mean, you can get an education just from listening to the show. It's awesome, and I really appreciate everything you guys do.
I just wanted to tell you, too, how much I have appreciated Point of View over the years, and it has caused me over time to call my representatives and take action that I would never have had the knowledge to do before. I've always been taught that we take care of our own, and I feel like Point of View is one of our own because of the Christian worldview that you do promote. And so I have become a partner today, and I just want to thank you so much, and just God bless you for all that you do.
So I've been listening to y'all for years. I'm not a politico whatsoever. I believe in voting, yes. But if it weren't for y'all and if it weren't for Marlon Maddox, I wouldn't know how to vote. I'm serious. I wouldn't know the first thing about voting, but I do now.
Wow, that's awesome. And we just had a congressman on the program. Hey, it's a little quiet in the phone room, actually. And so we're looking here at a match challenge to get cleared up here in a very short time. And I'll give you an update after the break and where we're at, because I don't know. But I do know this. Every line is open right now. 1-800-347-5151. I just heard some stuff about ISIS I did not know. I did not know some of the things that I just heard. And that happens every single day here in Point of View. I'm not talking about just me, but I got a feeling you didn't know about it either. Right? You or you or you.
Yeah, that's right. And so again, that's worth your support alone. Yes. Some of the things we've talked about. We heard from Bob Allen the first hour, some things we didn't know about separation of powers, some things we learned here from Congressman Louie Gohmert about what has happened with ISIS. So that's why we're encouraging you to visit the website, pointofview.net.
Yes.
Or give us a call, 800-347-5151. 800-347-5151.
Got to get the match done. If it's not done, we got to get her done.
Yeah, we'll be right back.
Let's do it.
Point of View, Truth Team 360, James Robison.
Point of view transforms our thinking. The scripture that says, "My people perish for lack of knowledge," is so true even in our day. I believe that Point of View gives people as much knowledge and wisdom in a brief period of time as is possible for you to be exposed to. I want to encourage you to support this incredible ministry of wisdom and knowledge that is necessary to literally arm you to stand against the forces of deception and destruction. Please I ask you from the bottom of my heart, support Point of View. Go online, make the gift, write a check. Encourage your friends to listen. They will get wisdom from above. Support this incredibly important outreach.
Point of View. Truth Team 360.
James Robison, again, in studio with us a while back, in which he was talking about how important it is to support this ministry, and certainly he understands that as an individual that has been a traveling evangelist and does a television program and much, much more. So we do challenge you to join with us to be part of the team. And it's sort of interesting because just a few minutes ago, Brad, we were hearing about a woman, I assume, or somebody, a listener, who was listening to the program for the first time and supported us.
That's
and
right.
Gave a gift. And we're thinking, I know people that have been listening to this program for 20, sometimes 30 years. That's right. Marlon's been on, it's actually been 43 years, but, some of them have been listening to me for almost 30 years and have never given a gift. So we really want to challenge some of you that have benefited from this program, benefited from the insight, even from some of the things we heard from Jerry Tuma today, from Representative Louie Gohmert. Of course, we heard some things from Matt Staver, Eric Metaxas just now, James Robison, Bob Allen, just to mention a few. And if you value what you hear and value the information we get to you, we certainly do need to hear from you. Pointofview.net or 1-800-347-5151.
That's 800-347-5151. There's not enough honoring that goes on around here, around Christendom. We don't honor when we should. And we're not taking this match challenge money for granted.
Yes.
Some friends sacrificially gave a total of $5,500 for today for a match challenge fund. Now, there's great news. We made the match. Thank you very much for that. But here's what we're going to do. To honor these ladies and gentlemen who made that match possible, we're going to double match.
Double match. Again, come back and do it a second time.
That's right. But we've only got, I'm looking at my watch, we got 10 minutes to get this done.
Yeah.
So the next 10 minutes, we need $4,160, and we will double match the match challenge.
That'd be fun.
So that would be a lot of fun. Now, here's another little thing. I just went through all of the slips that have come in all from the phone center, and we have not had one gift today at $65 a month, which is 1 minute of broadcasting. We have not had a $100 a month gift
that's interesting.
either. So what I'm asking for these final few minutes of the show today is, would there be some of you who have the means that you could do a $100 gift a month and bless us with that kind of level? And could I ask a couple more of you at that $65 level? Now, don't stop giving. Don't pick up the phone and say, well, I'm not going to give anymore. No. Because every dollar you give, a single gift or a monthly gift, goes against that $4,160. And we want to clear that up by the end of the hour. So don't hold back. The phones ought to be full between now and the top of the hour. 1-800-347-5151. We're looking for 2 people at $65 a month, another 2 people at $100 a month, and then a plethora of friends giving at that $360 for the year, which is $1 a day, $30 a month, and then single gifts as well. We're going to put all that together and have a day of honoring and blessing right here at Point of View. I'm very excited to see what's going to happen in the next 8 minutes.
Yes. Well, we always talk about this idea of a biblical worldview, and here is Joel Rosenberg talking about the importance of a biblical worldview.
One of the things I've loved about Point of View is that it looks at the issues of the day here in the United States and internationally from not just a political lens and not just an economic lens, but what I call the third lens of Scripture. And I think it's critical because so much of the mainstream media is looking at events and discounting the spiritual nature of what's happening in our world and the moral values that many of us hold so dearly. So I think Point of View has been critical at helping people understand what's happening from a biblical point of view, and that's one of the reasons I love the show so much. I think one of the reasons that evangelical Christians have been able to have so much impact on the United States over the last several decades is precisely because we have had access to information, and there's been a real burgeoning of communications technology that have allowed Christians to have access to information in real time. Talk radio has been a huge element in that, and Point of View has really been a leader for more than 3 decades at using radio technology to get information, analysis, facts and figures, and really inspirational and motivational programming to people wherever they are, from coast to coast, I think that's been critical. And Point of View really fits into a larger plan, I think, that God has had in the last several decades to mobilize the church on some of the really critical moral and social issues of our times, as well as understanding what's happening overseas and how we can be praying for and actually be participating in God's work both at home and abroad.
Joel Rosenberg, somebody else that we depend upon, along with Louie Gohmert and others, in terms of understanding what's happening in Israel, ISIS in the Middle East. But we have a double match on the table,
we do
so
indeed.
Talk about that.
What we're doing is honoring the folks who made that original match possible earlier this afternoon, $5,500, and we're going to double it. We're going to double the double, okay? So that means we've matched it, we're going to match it again in honor of that sacrificial gift. So $4,160 to go. That can come in a variety of different ways. Single gifts, that Team 360, that's $30 a month, $360 for the year. We're looking for 3 people. I did the math. If 3 people give us a call at $100 a month or more, and then 2 people give us $65 a month or more, we'll get there. We'll be done. So let's have a huge finish here in the final few moments that we have. 1-800-347-5151, 800-347-5151. 5151. We have got 4 people available to take your call right now. You can also give at pointofview.net.
Well, again, let's encourage you to give, and William wants to encourage you to join with us at Truth Team 360.
Yeah, I'm just, first of all, I thank you guys. Y'all's program is wonderful, and enjoy it every day. I learn so much every time I listen to it. Not only that, I want to encourage everybody listening to donate, because without our donations, I know that y'all won't be able to stay on the air, and it's just, I don't know where we get this kind of information if it wasn't from y'all.
Well, again, just an opportunity for you to participate. We're just about out of time here, and so we want to recognize that we're trying to double the double.
That's right.
Double match, and as we come to the finish line of the 4th day of Truth Team 360, we're getting there, and we're seeing some phones ringing, but we also have some open lines. So this is a good time for you if you've been waiting to call. Now is the time to do so. 1-800-347-5151. Or some of you might say, well, I don't want to call, but I'd love to give. You can go to the website, pointofview.net. Click on Join Our Team. You can see the 3 giving levels. We're looking for some of you that might want to give $65 a month, $100 a month. And you can see the welcome gifts that are available. And so we encourage you to visit the website, pointofview.net.
That's right. 800-347-5151. That's toll free, 1-800-347-5151. Strategically, every dollar you give between now and a little past the top of the hour to allow the time, we want to double match the match, basically in honor of those who gave that. So please, a great time to give right now, 1-800-347-5151, and we've got 3 lines open right now. 3 open for you to call.
Well, we need at least 3 to 5, maybe even 6, half a dozen of you to call right now. And as we go off the air, you can still call, and as we go off the air, you can still visit the website. Don't forget that Friday we have our weekend edition. We will have a weekend edition, but we'll also include Truth Team 360. So again, 1-800-347-5151.
Hey, be praying for us, would you? When you think of it, when you go to sleep tonight, put your head on the pillow, pray for Point of View. Thank you.
See you back here tomorrow.
Jonah was mad about God's mercy toward Nineveh. The Lord said in Jonah chapter 4, 120,000 people there don't know their right hand from their left. Now tell me, which is more difficult, telling right from left or knowing the difference between a boy and a girl? Is America in worse shape than wicked Nineveh? 330 million Americans need God's truth. We need Point of View Radio. Please join the Truth Team. $30 a month supports our work, and you can choose between 2 gifts, a Point of View tote bag or a sport bag. $65 a month underwrites 1 minute of our broadcast, and you can get both bags. For $100 a month, you get the tote and sport bags and an executive travel bag. Whether you give monthly or just this one time for now, please call or go online now, 1-800-347-5151 and pointofview.net. Click on Donate Now for a one-time gift or become a monthly partner. 800-347-5151 and pointofview.net. Point of View is produced by Point of View Ministries.